So the Netflix of AI is here. You're probably wondering, what exactly does that look like? Well, in this case, you will select a genre, in this case, anime. You'll add in some prompt details like 1920s detective noir, and then some additional details like a touch of Tarantino, which I very much approve of. Hit watch show, and you get Shadows over Shinjuku, which very much seems like a show that my kids would absolutely skip over on Crunchyroll, but I'd be kind of down with. Of course, you're probably wondering, what does this show actually look like? And we're going to dive into that, but more importantly, we're going to talk about who is behind it, what its limitations are, where all of this is headed, and believe me, that part is pretty mind-blowing, and how you can get started with it. There's a lot to unpack here. Let's dive in. So just to set the stage, this is Showrunner from The Simulation. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know that I have been following them very closely. I am endlessly fascinated by what they're up to. Now, you might remember them from last year when they released the AI-generated South Park episodes. The tech has come a long way since then, and Fable, the studio behind The Simulation, has been working on a few other interesting projects as well. Now, there are 3 known projects that I've been tracking, and believe me, all of this will come together for the Netflix thing. First off, there's AI Showrunner, which is the underlying engine that powers this AI Netflix. We saw an earlier version of it with those South Park episodes. Then there's Thistle Gulch, which is their 3D AI Westworld show simulation. I covered that pretty in depth in a previous video that is linked down below. And finally, there's Sim Francisco, which is a full virtual city filled with AI agents, all of whom have wants, desires, needs, they fall in love, and they eventually die. The projected eventual population of Sim Francisco is going to be 1 million agents. We're going to circle back to all of this, but for now, let's go AI and chill. So obviously the current output of Showrunner is very much animated. And while I know that a lot of you are probably very eager to start creating your own shows, I do want to mention that this is an alpha right now, so it's going to be a minute before that happens. In the meantime, they have announced that there will be 10 shows that you'll be able to play around with on the platform. Now, how much can you play around with them? We'll talk about that in just a second, but first let's go over the shows. First, we have Exit Valley, which is a satire of Silicon Valley. It is very much in that sort of South Park animation style. Pixels, which leans obviously into the Pixar style and is a family comedy about AI-enabled devices. And of course, the one that caught my eye, Ikiru Shinu, it's Neo Tokyo. Of course, I'm going to be all over that one. So let's talk about control and limitations. I did speak with Edward Sachi, the CEO of Fable, yesterday. What I like about Edward is that he's very straightforward in terms of those limitations. But, obviously, he makes some good points in terms of those limitations, kind of being assets as well. So for one, episodes are between 2 and 16 minutes, again, based off of a prompt that you give it. But they are more episodic in nature. So think more like a sitcom where each episode is self-contained and less like an 8-season HBO epic. There is a plan for multi-season storytelling coming, but yes, for now we are still stuck with that Game of Thrones ending. Have you even started the book, George? Now, in terms of power users, yes, we will be able to go into the episode, change the script, change the shots, change the characters, change the locations. Basically remake the episode however you choose. But the thing is that Showrunner isn't really built for that purpose. It really is built for non-technical people just to kind of hang out and chill and watch a show. And for sure, right now, these shots are very basic. It is very much one character talking and then another character talking. But you know what? That honestly was TV for a very long time. We have very much been spoiled by this era of cinematic TV. If you just go back and watch a couple of episodes of Lost, you will see that the vast majority of the episode is Sawyer talks to Kate, Kate talks to Jack. Locke says something cryptic, and then Jack gets mad. The shots are very much in 1s and 2s. Again, this is the first step, and I'm sure this is going to look a lot better soon. But, for now, I would say set your expectations less at say Baby Yoda and more at Star Trek The Next Generation, which actually is totally fine by me. That show is awesome. Now, here's where the onion peel happens, and this is what I really like about Edward and the Fable team, because we're circling back to Sim Francisco. So the shows that we will be making in AI Showrunner are the shows that the citizens of Sim Francisco will be watching. And while I don't think that Sim Francisco and Showrunner will be connected at launch, Sim Francisco does play a part in teaching Showrunner how to do multi-episode, multi-season long arcs, essentially by building underlying simulations for its characters to have long-term repercussions for their actions. And just to keep the snake eating its own tail, Sim Francisco is an actual show on our Showrunner homepage as well. It's kind of like a clip reality show where we'll be able to check in on what all of our AI characters have been up to for, the last week or so. So it's all kind of one big ecosystem. And that is actually my biggest takeaway in the conversation that I had with Edward. There is this commitment to bring everything together and create a narrative and make it entertaining. They are very much story focused. And while this is new technology, the language of storytelling doesn't change. If a TV show isn't good, you're going to turn it off. Well, in this case, at least, if the TV show isn't good, you could go in and fix it. The link to the Storyteller website is down below where you can sign up for the wait list. There's also a link to a questionnaire, and if you fill out all of the questions, that should hop your line in place up a little bit. Once I get access, I will take a deep dive into the platform and let you know all about it. In the meantime, I thank you for watching and for not prompting me to do something ridiculous. My name is Tim.